Hey friends, in this video we're going to talk about some really good news for some people who have the 3 or 10-year bar. A recent lawsuit has led USCIS to make a decision to allow some people to adjust their status without needing to leave the United States and wait outside of the United States for the entire 3-year or 10-year that they've been barred. This only applies to certain people, and I'm going to explain to you very carefully in this video who it applies to and who it does not apply to. Thanks so much for watching this video. For those of you who are new to me, welcome. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey. I'm an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients all over the world on complex family, business, and removal immigration matters. If you'd like to work with us, contact us at McBeanLaw.com or at 516-866-3900. Before you go today, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be in the loop each week as my videos come out. Let's talk about this lawsuit, and I'm going to pull up the very relevant section from a recent status report whereby USCIS agreed to change its policy. So let me back up and explain who this is for and how it will help you. Now, first of all, if you had entered the United States with a visa lawfully and you've overstayed, and when you've overstayed, you then left the United States after some period of time. Now, if you, at the moment you left the United States, you were then either barred for 3 years or 10 years from returning to the country. While you were out of the United States, you then applied for another visa and the embassy approved you and you came back to the United States. And now you want to adjust your status. There was a gray area in the law that it was quite debatable whether or not you would be eligible to adjust your status or whether you would have to go back home and wait for the entire 3 years to be up or 10 years to be up before you would be eligible to apply for a green card. USCIS has now said that it will allow the bar of inadmissibility to run while you're here inside the United States. What that means is that when you came back into the United States, if you had maybe 2 more years or 6 more years to go on your period of inadmissibility, they will allow the time that you are here in the United States to continue to add up, so to speak, to run until you get to that 3-year or that 10-year point, after which you will then be able to adjust your status and you will not need to file a waiver to ask for forgiveness for this inadmissibility problem. Now, the thing is this, guys, that if you had committed fraud or misrepresentation to get that new visa to come back to America, well, you will need the waiver. You will need the I-601 waiver to be approved during this adjustment of status process, because the fraud or misrepresentation in connection to that visa is still there. For instance, if you, when you were outside of the US, you were not truthful to the question, have you ever been to the United States? Have you ever been admitted? What is your name, right? If you change your name or if you lie about your previous entry and time in the United States, well, during the adjustment of status process, that type of fraud and misrepresentation usually comes to light for most people. Now, you will need a waiver if you did in fact commit fraud to come back in. But for other people who came back in under maybe the F1 student visa and you had applied for the non-immigrant visa waiver, you not applied for, but you submitted one, the NIV waiver to a US embassy and they approved it, you would then be allowed to come back in under that temporary visa, student visa, or whatever the visa is. Thus, you will not need a waiver when you apply for adjustment of status. Now, I also want to mention who this does not apply to. This does not apply to those of you who have the perma bar, the permanent bar. And I think many of you who have the perma bar know exactly who you are. This new change that's coming up does not apply to that section of the law. So you would still need to remain for 10 years physically outside of the United States before you would be eligible to apply for a green card, those of you with the perma bar. This also doesn't help and doesn't apply to those of you who came to the US with your visa, you've overstayed, and you've just been here. You've been here and you're 7 years in, 3 years in, 5 years in, and you have never left and returned. This does not apply to you. It only applies to those of you who actually left, and at the point of leaving, the bar, 3 or 10-year bar, was triggered. And then you came back in lawfully with a visa, with inspection, and you're here right now and you're trying to adjust your status. I'm going to take you into the joint status report that was issued just recently. This is the Gomez v. USCIS case. This is the joint status report that was filed on May 25th, 2022. And I'm going to take you to the relevant section here where USCIS is basically agreeing to change its interpretation of the law. And it says this: USCIS intends to modify its interpretation of a certain section of our law to no longer require an applicant for adjustment to spend his or her period of inadmissibility outside of the United States, and is in the process of finalizing a revised policy, including final approval by the Department of Homeland Security and issuing new guidance to USCIS adjudicators. USCIS also affirms that it is not currently denying adjustment applications or requiring applicants to file waiver applications on the basis that an applicant returned to the United States within the period of inadmissibility under this section. So I'm going to pause here and just explain a little bit, if I could get my words out, explain a little bit of what I just read here. So USCIS, friends, is saying that it will not be denying the adjustment of status application solely because the person has this inadmissibility issue on their record, and they're back in the United States and they didn't stay for the entire period. They didn't stay outside of the United States for the entire period. So they're not going to be denying people on that basis alone. And then also they're not going to be requiring people to file a waiver to ask for forgiveness for that inadmissibility problem. However, again, if you have fraud or misrepresentation on your record, you will need a waiver to address those issues. This is very excited, great news for some people who are in this situation right now and could not adjust their status otherwise. So guys, what I'm noticing is that the Biden administration obviously has a tremendous amount of failure with respect to immigration reform, comprehensive immigration reform, legislative reform on Capitol Hill. And so now they're trying to find other ways that they could provide relief and help people through policy making, and things that are within their jurisdiction to do. They're going to be a little bit more lenient to do it so that they could have some smaller wins, so to speak, because they did fail significantly with respect to comprehensive immigration reform as promised to us by President Biden last year when he came into office. This is good news nonetheless for some people. Share this video with others. You never know who needs to hear this. Most people who have an immigration problem don't go around and tell others that they have a status problem. And so you may not know if your friend, your coworker, or a relative needs this information. Share the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.